So I have here Kyle. Um, Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
How long have you been interested in typology?
Um, I've been into it for about 4 years, maybe
Okay.
five, because I've taken it junior year in high school, and yeah, I've taken it junior year in high school because my teacher made the class take it. I'm not sure what it was for. I'm not sure what the whole entire process was for, but I remember what type I got. I won't tell you, but I remember
Okay.
taking it then, and then another friend of mine had mentioned me, mentioned it to me a few years later, and it was a different concept. It was the OPS system and how they incorporated like different functions and the animals and axes and stuff like that. So I
Right.
kind of got more into this because of the methods or the mechanisms behind it and just how the reasons as to why some functions function in the way that they function. It's something to grasp, more to understand. Because when I first taken the test, it was on the MBTI system, and
hmm
I don't. I have yet to figure out what the reasoning is to what they tell me.
Okay, so you're saying you're a fan of the objective personality system?
I've been a fan for about a month or two.
Okay. Um, First of all, I guess how much research have you done like on your own, like trying to understand cognitive functions?
Um, since high school, I mean, I've indulged in the MBTI system. I've learned about like the letters and stuff, but since I've been off of that, I've been studying not studying, just reading and evaluating the OPS system
Okay.
and just trying to familiarize myself with like how the functions work, preferences to animals and stuff like that. So I'm just laying down the frameworks for it.
Okay. So you've kind of like dabbled in it, but you've just kind of recently been getting more into it, basically.
Yeah, one of my friends got me into it.
Okay. Um, so, I mean, to me, it seems like most of the objective personality system is like its inner workings seem to be hidden behind some kind of like paywall or training program. I'm not really sure
Hmm.
about how it works, but that would be my main beef with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I mean I can't really talk because it's not like I actually have a system that's like in writing at all.
Hmm.
It's just kind of in my head. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend any different. I still think it's pretty accurate. I don't know.
I mean, that's ultimately what I'm looking for,
Yeah,
accuracy, because
right.
it's not it's not like a proven scientific fact or it has scientific research behind it. It's a build, it's a process. So
Yeah, it's an
I'm
intuitive
just looking
process.
at the process. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think you have a pretty good idea of like what type you might be, or like are you stuck between like two or three different types, or what? Like you don't have to tell me what they are, but
Yeah, I've gotten a few types, but they've been from the MBTI system, and my whole experience from that has been tainted from then. So I have no idea.
I mean, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Dave Powers uses mostly mostly an MBTI backbone. I mean, I'm sure he has some of his own ideas, but it seems to be
Hmm.
largely based on what Myers Briggs and Kiersey were doing.
Okay.
Um, I you know, um, it seems to be a much further cry from like socionics or something like that, for example.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but maybe not. I don't know. So, what were you like when you were like a 6 year old kid? Like, what kind of stuff would you be doing?
Hmm. 6 years old, I would probably say I was very hyper, hyper creative. I said what I wanted, tried to do what I wanted, but I mean, 5 or 6 years old, I would probably say I didn't really have much to really draw from that experience because I was like a sheltered religious family, so it's not much to really derive from that
Well, you said you were
experience.
hyper and creative. Can you go into more detail about that?
Um, well, I didn't understand a lot of the stuff that they were explaining, so like I would act out or I would do a lot of stuff or like what would you say? What would I call it? I want to see the reactions from these people, being as though these are the reasonings as to why they live their lives. So I want to see. I'm just testing their logic.
Mm-hmm. I can remember doing a really similar thing, honestly. I mean,
Mm.
even when I was a lot older than that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so do you think that continued into high school, like that behavior of like testing people to observe their reactions?
yeah. It kind of it gave me this sense of like, all right, if I can test these people and they're my authorities, then the sky's the limit. Because these are the people that I'm supposed to be learning from. So
Right.
if if their logic is tainted, who's to say mine won't be in the future?
Right.
So I gotta get something. I gotta get it from somewhere.
All right.
So I was looking for something per se.
So were you like a sociable person? Did you make friends easily?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was pretty social. Like I was. I mean, around 5, 6, I couldn't really say, but around five
Well,
to
yeah.
ten,
Let's
yeah.
move up to like middle school then. Like,
Okay.
your
Yeah,
what was your life looking like then?
I was a I was a pretty popular kid, even though
Okay.
I had yet to figure out how. But I was very I was like in a dance crew. I was on tour, stuff like that. Just for being a kid like that, I guess that's how I got it. But
Right.
like, I wasn't really attached to the people that I was friends
Well,
with, so
right.
I had a lot of friends.
You weren't trying to get popular, basically. You just
Yeah, I was just having fun.
right.
Kids still.
Yeah. Um, what about high school? What kind of hobbies and stuff did you have? Like, what were you like in school?
Around high school, yeah, I had got transferred at high school, so I didn't really know much people at that high school at all.
Okay.
So I was pretty quiet kid, but I was very much into like music and making money. Other than that, and girls, but other than that,
Okay.
yeah. But I was
Um,
very quiet kid. I didn't do too much talking.
so how old are you now?
I just turned 24,
Okay.
3 months ago.
Did you go to college at all?
I went to a community college, but nah, I just didn't see it as anything that was really beneficial to me at the point.
Okay. So have you generally been kind of like an aimless person? Like, how are you as far as having like goals and directions in life and like knowing what you want out of it?
Well, like throughout that process, I kind of figured out like once I was doing that dancing phase, I kind of figured out other stuff I can incorporate into that process, and then on and on, it kind of just got into well, if I like doing music, I'll continue that, and then that kind of created this system of well, I can start doing videos to my music. So then I started learning how to shoot videos and doing all that type of stuff, and then I was into gaming and stuff like that. So as of right now, I've just incorporated all of that stuff into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like gaming, but with my music and my editing. And so I'm incorporating all of the stuff that I've learned into one thing and just trying to build off of that. So
I gotcha.
yeah,
Do you just teach yourself how to do all this stuff? Like, do you just figure out like what to do with software or whatever to do whatever you need to do?
yeah.
Okay.
Like I literally just figured out how to make my own thumbnails, how to tamper with algorithms on YouTube.
Okay.
Honestly, YouTube is how I learned almost everything. The
Cool.
majority of the stuff that I know.
Cool. So like, how do you make money?
Selling beats, shooting music videos, and I work. I work an office job, but
Okay.
that's just the
That's cool.
like that's like a pivot.
I like that. So what kind of music do you like?
Anything. I mean, I would say I have like a specific pattern that I'm just accustomed to, but I listen to anything. Like, it
I
doesn't
want to
matter
hear
what kind
anything, man. What's your favorite kind of music?
of. Well, I would say I like grunge and electronic music,
Okay,
but
I can get on board
I'm
with that.
I'm I'm into like hip hop and trap and pop and country and Latin music and all types of stuff.
Is there something like you? Are you just looking for like a track to just kind of pop in general, or is there like a certain thing that you're looking for in your music? Is that have to have like a danceable beat, or are you looking at like more melodic stuff? You
It's
know what
just
I'm
a
saying?
pattern,
Okay.
because like I think it stems from when I used to make music on like a timeline structured program, and like the beats that are set in those timeline structured programs, the 8s, the 16s, how the patterns were set up. I was kind of fixed on that before I even got to the sounds or the guitars and stuff like that. So I'm more in tune with like patterns and percussion more so
Okay.
than like other type of stuff.
So you're actually evaluating it on like a technical basis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like that's how I make a lot of my music. Like I'm not in tune with music theory. I'm not in tune with how the entirety of how keys work on a piano, sharps and flats and stuff like that. But I just somehow make it work, if you
Okay.
know what I mean.
I got you. Um, do you would you say you start like a bunch of different tracks and never really quite finish them? Like you tell yourself, oh, I'll finish the production on this one later, and then you might get back to it in like 6 months or never. No.
No. See, with the program that I had, there was no going back. So once you started, it was the demo version. So I had to finish or it was deleted. So a lot of the times I would spend maybe a week or two on one beat, but usually it's just I make this beat, and if I'm not liking it during the process, scrap it and I'll make something until I like it. And then I save that one and continue on. I won't save anything that I don't like and come back to it.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I gotcha. Are you like that in your life in general? Like, do you like to just kind of focus on one thing at a time and make it perfect, and then move on to the next thing, or do you tend to do things in bursts and fits and starts?
I would more so prefer the burst option because I like to gather a lot of information about what I'm trying to do before I then execute.
Okay. So you don't really jump into stuff. You make sure it's fleshed out in your mind, I guess, like
hmm
abstractly before you even
And
start.
yes, I need a reasoning, like something that I can resonate with, to where I just encompass the entirety of what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Like I understand all angles of what I'm trying to project to people.
Okay. So these days, what is your social life like? Well, I mean, outside of the coronavirus, obviously. Like what?
It's pretty cool. I'm pretty talkative, but I don't prefer to. That's what I would say. I'm not a person that prefers to
Okay.
engage in a lot of social events because I'm more so, yeah, I'm more so a person that likes to work in his own comfortable space. Like everything that I do, everything that I work on is literally on this table right here.
I
I
gotcha.
make my music right here. I edit my videos right here,
I mean, I'm just
and
talking
everything's
about.
done right here.
I'm talking about like close friends though, like people you
Oh,
really
okay.
do want to hang out with.
Oh, yeah, I hang out with my friends all the time. They actually come over here frequently, and we, like a group of them, we all just like work on different stuff. Like I have a bunch of friends that have their own podcasts and they work on writing out all that type of stuff and writing
Okay.
out when they're gonna get that done. And then I have a friend that YouTubes and he does his little YouTube stuff. And then I have a friend that raps. We help him create reference tracks in here in some points. So we'll help him do like his little rapping stuff. And I have another friend that I taught how to produce. He'll produce in here. We'll make music. We do a lot of stuff in here.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
just
I got a
something to
lot of
work
friends
on.
that do a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
Well, what about? I mean, do you guys ever just chill? Like, what does it look like?
That's chilling.
Well, like, what are you doing while you're chilling? Are you smoking weed, or what kind of stuff are you talking about?
I mean, all of the above. Like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't self-incriminate, but
Yeah.
yeah, we all, yeah, it's like creating is the chill, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, all right. So you all just like doing creative stuff together. That's cool.
Yeah, but we do, like one of my friends, we do have, philosophical debates here and there, just to create that atmosphere, but
Are
not
you?
everybody likes to talk on them lines.
Oh yeah, I feel you. I mean, is that something you spend a lot of time thinking about, like kind of
Yeah.
political,
I won't say
philosophical?
political. I would just say like scientific things. That's why I'm kind of into like the typology thing because
It's
it's
definitely
kind of
not
scientific.
scientific.
I once and that and you're what would you mean by that?
I mean, it doesn't. There's no empirical evidence for any of it.
Right, right.
That's what
Okay,
it comes down to. I mean, that's what I would consider scientific. Um,
okay.
but
I would
I
say
mean,
reasonable.
it sounds like you're kind of like me, where you're more into like soft sciences, like things that
Yeah,
you kind of try to approach in like a consistent, logical manner, but
yeah.
it doesn't entirely yield to analysis.
Right, right, right.
So there's all this room to just think and ponder about it, which is
And there's
kind
so many
of
possibilities
yeah.
over and over and over again.
Right. So
All day.
that's what I'm getting at, is like the sort of like philosophical kinds of thinking. I mean, it tends to make you lean more towards like psychology or sociology or
Yeah,
things of that nature, rather than like chemistry or physics.
yeah. And that's kind of what I try to do when I talk to my friends and I debate with my one friend about that the entirety of what you were just talking about because I kind of try to mix in the biological studies and the chemistry into the philosophical ideas and try to see where we can extrapolate something that makes sense
Right.
or something reasonable or meaningful from that.
I gotcha.
So that's where I'm at.
Um. Hmm. Do you read a lot, or
I
did you
mean, I
ever?
would say so. Yeah, I mean, like this past year, I've definitely got into reading more. Like I've been on this little like 50 books a year thing, but it's like I've never read like this before, so I'm just now trying new things out. So
I
it's
gotcha.
cool.
It
So
seems like
yeah, I do read. I'm building
okay.
my own library as we speak.
I mean, what kinds of stuff do you like to read?
Like like what do we got over there? Carl Sagan, Fahrenheit 451, White Fragility, Between the World and Me, The Alchemist, Franz Kafka,
Okay.
lots of type of yeah,
I mean,
just anything that I can think about
the only real like
during.
novel or something that I'll sit down and read is like fantasy or sci-fi stuff. That's kind of why I'm asking.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Ah,
I don't. I mean, I guess nowadays I read a lot of nonfiction type stuff just on the internet. But yeah,
yeah.
if I'm gonna sit down and read a book, it's definitely nonfiction.
Okay.
I mean, it's
I
definitely
guess.
fiction. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, do you like stuff that actually is like kind of educational or thought provoking in like a practical sort of way?
It depends. What do you mean by that?
I guess I mean how often does your mind go to like fantasy land, where you're like considering stuff that um, could most likely never actually happen in real life? Just things that just fantastical, weird stuff that doesn't really have any direct bearing on reality. Just weird thoughts and ideas that you're entertaining.
I do that pretty often, but I kind of try to like make it concrete, but not all the time does that happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do that sometimes.
Okay.
But I catch myself doing that sometimes, and I gotta stop that sometimes because possibilities can go on forever if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm the kind of person who, like, I literally just freeze up from all the possibilities. It's like, okay, I might as well just not do anything because there's like a
yeah, you might as
billion different things that I could do.
well. Right.
Um, all right. Um, hmm. Are you are you any good at like with numbers, mathematics?
Not at all. I
Not at
mean, I
all.
wouldn't say I'm. I wouldn't say I'm not. Well, I'm not good now, but I feel as though if I'm taught in a specific way, I think I could be pretty good at it. But as of now, I'm not really good at numbers and statistics and mathematics and stuff
Okay.
like that.
What about like words and language?
I mean, I'm okay with it, but it depends on what field we're speaking of.
Well, like, do you do you like to play around with, and manipulate language and words? Do you have like a large vocabulary sort of? Are you more of like an audible person where you would prefer to absorb information, through somebody talking to you?
No, I wouldn't say that. Mm, Nah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would prefer that.
Okay. So, do you think you are visual?
I would say so.
Okay. Like, do you learn easily through like charts and infographics and stuff like that?
What do you mean by charts?
Like basically visual learning aids that have stuff organized in a way that it's easy to like see all of it next to each other. Um,
Okay, I would. Yeah, I would prefer that.
or do you prefer to just read stuff?
Could I do both?
Well, I'm trying to get at like which if you can absorb a lot of information from looking at like an infographic or something at a glance, right? And you'd
Hmm.
rather do that than read through a few paragraphs or whatever. Then some
Yeah, I'd
people are
rather
like
do
that.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um, do you think you have a good like aesthetic sensibilities in general?
I would say so. Yes. I mean, I'm pretty likable. Pretty. I wouldn't say I'm agreeable, but I'm pretty likable.
No, I mean aesthetic, like visually pleasing.
As opposed to me,
No, I mean, are you? Do you think you have a good eye for making stuff look nice, basically? Like, do you dress well? Are you good about decorating? Any of that sort of stuff?
no,
No.
no.
Okay, so
I just whatever I need, and that's about it. Everything else is just,
okay.
yeah.
Are you physically active, or do you like find yourself like sitting in your chair for like hours and hours and hours, and you don't?
Sitting in my chair
Okay.
for hours and hours, just like now.
I mean, do you like moving around a lot, or are you like a pretty sedentary person?
I mean, I wouldn't see why not. I mean, I have aspirations to go biking and
Right.
hiking and stuff like that,
Well,
but I prefer to do what I'm doing now.
okay. How often are you likely to have like an idea to do something and then not actually implement it?
Did it just? I was back.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I was saying, how likely are you to have an idea to do something or an idea about something, but then not implement it?
Very frequently.
Okay.
I was doing it now as we speak. So yeah, very frequently.
Is it just because you have way too many ideas, or is it just
Yes.
okay?
It's so many possibilities after one. Like I see
Okay.
one and then just snowball effects.
All right. I mean, I feel Look, actually, I could ask you, how conscious are you about like how other people perceive you? Like, do you think you have a pretty good idea of that when you're around people?
No,
No?
I would like to think I do, but I don't.
Okay. Are you good at getting people to like you if you want them to?
I don't know. I would think I am, but yeah, I don't know. I would think that I'm good at getting people to like me, being as though I'm pretty aware of what people think likable traits are, but
There you go. Okay.
you know, that's up to the other person or up to what society thinks. Because I
Right.
have my reason as to what I think. Yeah,
Okay. Um, so if you had like a daughter and she came to you after school one day and she told you that some other girl bullied her and took her lunch money and stuff. Um, how would you respond to that?
lunch money. Take it back.
Okay, so
Go and get it back.
yeah, tell her to confront the bully.
Yes,
Okay,
with a very detailed way. Learn
okay,
about this girl.
okay. I like that.
Listen, she didn't take your money? Okay.
So would you ever consider like talking to her about how well maybe the bully comes from a broken home and
Oh, okay.
they're going
I mean,
through.
yeah, but that's the part that I would explain after because we got to get what was taken from us first before we then explain
Okay,
the reasoning as to why. Yeah, you know.
all right. Um, how conscious are you of like your your emotional motivations like for doing things like
Emotional
like
motivations.
basically do you have times a lot where like you reason through why you're doing things like in the moment, right? You rationalize it, and then later on you realize like, oh, you know what? I was probably like actually really angry at the time, and I was acting based on that, but like, I was ignoring my emotions, and I was thinking that I was being logical. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah,
Like, are you kind of blind to your kind of like emotional motivational triggers in that way?
like when I think back to how I perceive what I've done to certain people, do I think that it came off correctly or how I'm interpreting what's happening? Do I believe what I'm thinking?
Well, I guess what I'm wondering is how I'm trying to word it the right way. Do you easily ignore when you're like upset about things and then like try to be logical about it? Like
Yeah. Like if I can't figure out a reason as to what this means, it probably doesn't mean anything until further notice.
I gotcha. Okay. Do you have a really good sense of like what your likes and dislikes and preferences for stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what I like. Yeah.
Okay. Um, cause like I guess to give you an example, like for me, if somebody asks me something like what my favorite color is,
Hmm.
to me that seems like it's like an arbitrary thing. Like I can think of like a few different colors that I like generally, right? But to pick a favorite to me seems like, well, what deciding factor is going to make orange objectively better to me than purple? I don't know. And it gets like, how do I pick a favorite? It could change tomorrow.
See it,
Yeah.
I kind of put it like, well, I like butterscotch and I kind of like the color of butterscotch because of the way it tastes. So I guess that's my favorite color. And it looks cool, I don't know.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
how I pick one like that.
So yeah, you'll just come up with reasons. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm. You seem like an ENTP to me so far.
ENTP.
I don't know what you
It's
thought.
way off from what I've got.
What
I've
do you
gotten
have?
many different things. I've gotten INFP, ISFP,
I don't think
and
you're an FI
INTP.
Dom, man. No.
That's what I've been trying to figure out this entire time because it's been a TI FI battle with me to figure out what is the differentiation between TI and FI, and I can never figure that out.
One big difference is that TI people are splitting hairs and kind of trying to define everything.
Hmm.
So the TI user is going to be like, well, technically it's not that. It's actually this. You know?
See, I can hear myself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
FI people are like, to me, it's almost like a more like a somatic, like a physical process that they're actually like feeling stuff out, and so it doesn't necessarily have to get like pinned down conceptually in the way
Hmm.
that TI stuff does.
So it's like, so it's like a like an entirely different reasoning system.
Right.
Okay,
It is meant to accomplish the same general goal of finding what could roughly be called truth, but
right.
it's a whole different process, and it's not as, I mean, it is particularist, but not in a way that can be like put into words.
Right,
You
right.
know, they can't define what they're looking for. All they can do is like know whether they like that or they don't like it, whether it's hot or
So it's like
cold.
a
You know,
feeling.
yeah,
Yeah, feeling. It's interesting. Yeah, and that's what I like about that system.
yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. ENTP. Well, that's a big throw off because I've been on this INFP train for a very long time.
yeah. I don't see.
I have a lot of people. I have a lot of people telling, well, my friend that had got me into this system. I mean, the this system. I had gave him my type, and I told him I was INFP, and he just till this day believes that I'm INFP. And I don't know. I did a lot of research, and
I mean, listen, it's hard.
I don't know.
I can't even say honestly that
But
I.
I can see what you're saying. I can
Yeah,
see what you're saying.
honestly, I don't know if you can go online anywhere and find a satisfactory
Yeah,
description of like what
that's what I
introverted,
figured out.
yeah, of what introverted feeling like really is. Like that is a function that to me it's so hard to really describe well.
Mhm.
You can check out. I don't. I did like a video on FE and FI where I like kind of attempted to describe it, and it cuts off at the end. But I think I said some pretty good stuff there.
On your
Um,
YouTube page?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
but
check that out.
but like I can definitely entertain you being another type because there's never 100% certainty with this. But to say that you're
Yeah,
FI dominant, that's a bit of a stretch. And based
yeah.
on a lot
That's
of,
it. Yeah.
wait, did you have something to say?
I was about to say, based on how I interpreted that, you can see how much I know about this system.
Right. Um, and I would say based on a lot of what you said, you pretty clearly seem to be like, are you still good?
Oh, I can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
You
you're right.
just
Your camera
froze.
kind of froze. Okay, well, you seem to be either an SE or an NE dominant. Like I figured that
Okay.
out pretty quickly just based on like body language and like general behavior in life. Um,
Okay.
and then after that, it's kind of figuring out whether it's SE or NE, and you seem to be much more of like a creative, like conceptually based person.
Okay. Well, there we
Um,
go. I think I
and
can. I think that's a nice little start
yeah,
for
yeah, it's
the research
definitely,
that I'm about to go into.
and then it's definitely TI over FI. Like I can't see you being like a TI polar or anything like that based on the way that you
Hmm.
think. So,
And polars. I've yet to figure that system out too.
Well, that's see
polar.
that comes from socionics though. So that's an example of people
Yeah.
muddying the waters. You know, taking designations from socionics model A and then plugging it into MBTI, which is something
Hmm.
that people do a lot. Which honestly, I mash all the systems together in my head. Like that's
Yeah.
basically how I roll because I'm just trying to figure out what seems to be the most accurate, taking the best pieces of everything and then trying to reconcile it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That's ultimately where I'm at too. Just
yeah.
trying to piece everything together, but I think I'm on a good path from what you're talking about. It's kind of a solid reasoning where you're
Um,
coming from. I think you're going.
yeah, I try to reason stuff out pretty well. Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, my bad. I
No.
was gonna say if you could not anytime soon, just if you could make an ENTP review video eventually in your process of YouTubing.
Just like a video
'Cause I would definitely watch that.
about the type in general.
Yeah, because I've been on YouTube, not really too sure if anybody. Well, talking about famous people had me a little hooked, but everybody else, I'm not too sure if I can really listen to that stuff. But I just
Yeah,
need more options. I need more
Eric
options.
is tough to listen to.
No, I actually like his
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean
That's
he's
what
got
brought
good
me.
material though. I mean I
Yeah,
he was basically my teacher a little bit. Although I really came to most of my own conclusions about this stuff. But
yeah.
I'm I'm pretty proud to have come from his camp, I guess. But um,
I can definitely
yeah,
see the way you branched off and how I like where you're going. So that's why I kind of
well, I
like
appreciate it.
took the step forward to,
Yeah.
support.
Well, thank you, man. Um, you know, I don't really have to finish right now. Like, you can feel free to like text me or email me if you have any
Oh no, no problem, man. I was
questions.
actually gonna continue
Um,
editing this video I was doing. So, but
okay.
35, 40 minutes was cool with me.
Okay.
Just as long as I got down to what I need to work for from bottom up. I got a
Yeah.
little bit of
As long
information.
as you've got what you want from me, you know, you've got another 20 minutes if you want it.
Yeah, nah, man. We good from here.
Okay.
All right, man. Thank
All
you.
right.
You have a good one,
You
man.
too, man. Appreciate it.